cautious and you didn't know what you were getting into here.
Well, I think part of it was financial.
Financial
perhaps,
was you were
right?
in the-
Yeah. You
Yes.
you had to be very careful with your money.
Yes.
Well, that's, yeah, because I had just been disabled and had to give up
Correct.
my
Right.
career.
Right.
So I wrote a letter to the planning director and I said, I don't have any money, I'm crippled and I need to move into this new house. So can I please just build it now?
That's it.
Without
And
it.
you can give me a permit later. But when I worked for city government, I had done this man a huge favor back when he was a lowly bureaucrat. And he remembered that and he said, yes, you can do this. And yeah, I was on welfare. It was pretty dicey
Personal
financially.
relationships.
Yeah, but all worked out beautifully.
And then you-
Is this, I wonder if that's your letter.
And then
Messages
you,
pulled down.
when you guys came out, you brought the
Portable classroom.
classroom.
Real step ahead.
That was Evan.
So what year was that?
94. So in 89, I think it's interesting, the way it was set up when we joined co-housing was every Tuesday night I was to speak with Mark. And Mark would give me an update on what was happening. That's how we
From
would
New
stay-
York.
From New York.
Yeah.
So he would
Hour,
call
we
us
talk an hour.
an hour or so, every Tuesday night.
Back when it cost money to do that.
Long
And then
distance.
May came along and there was no phone call. So
Things
May
were
came
getting
along
shaky.
and then I called and I
Yeah.
said, Mark, what's going on? He says, well, I'm no longer a part of the group. And there was no warning. No, there was no, we're having discussions, we're having conversations, nothing. I knew nothing, we knew nothing. We said, what? What's this all about?
Yeah.
Who are these people who we're involved with? And you said, no, and you weren't very forthcoming. You were very closed-mouthed, and you said, it's not working out for me, and I'm not part of it.
Yeah.
So we came out in 94, not 94, in 90. The summer of 1990, we came out, as we did every summer leading up to our move. And we went to every member, and I think there were 13 members. You had gone as large as 13, and went to every person who left and asked them, why'd you leave? And we just sat down with them. And the nice thing about it was nobody had there was no nastiness. Everyone had kind feelings, which was very impressive for us in that way. And it came down to, there were two groups of people here. You had the self-starters, and you had the people who had equity. And the people who had equity all left.
Well, we had hired a developer, and the project had gotten very expensive.
Well, they hired a developer, and the
Remember, we
developer
had hired-
finally came out with what it would cost if he developed it.
And it was really
Oh,
And the
Right,
self,
remember that?
and the
Right.
self-starters said, hey man, we're not doing this. We can do it ourselves for a tenth of the price or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I don't remember the guy's name, but do you remember?
No, I don't, but I remember
I
it was
remember
a
it.
big shakeup. It was
Yeah.
like,
Big shake, oh,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah,
explosion.
and it was many meetings
Well,
of
and
back and forth and.
yeah, because part of what we had not done was to check people's ability to get a bank mortgage. And when the question came, Michael Trowell.
Very good.
Oh,
was
good.
the,
Michael Trowell, that
was
was
the
his name.
developer.
Yeah.
And so when he came into it totally blindly. Oh, we're doing this project and it's so great. And then when he started asking, okay, how much money do we have in this group? We looked at each
Money?
other.
Money?
And that was part of my challenge. Is I was so naive. I knew nothing about money. I had $10,000 in the bank when I moved to the island. I thought I was rich, and I had a $12,000 line of credit on my credit card, and I thought that would do as the down payment. And a friend said, no, bank doesn't want your credit. You don't buy a house on your credit card. It's like, so that was part of what was going on. And there were personal dynamics and dynamics in my relationship too. And
So
and it wasn't just me. I mean, that shakeout was throughout the
Yeah.
group.
Yeah.
And and so
I think you pegged it though. There's a bifurcation between
Correct.
people who wanted to do it slowly, do it themselves, and people
Right.
who wanted to build and have it done in 2 years.
Turnkey, they were
Yeah,
just gonna
yeah.
come in and.
Choose the carpets and the paint colors and move in.
Most
Yeah.
co-housings are done with developers. We
Yeah,
were
right.
odd
This
in
is-
so
yeah.
many ways.
This is, I know of no other project.
Yeah, it's an
like
anomaly.
Well, when we heard about co-housing, we heard about it at a Christmas dinner at our friends in Wallingford in Seattle in December of '89. And we had just been on the island. We went to a party with John and Carol and Candy at what was the name?
Oh, it was down at Fern
Fern
Cove.
Cove. Fern Cove. And Evan was at that party.
It was a solstice
And we just met him there. We didn't know, he didn't know us, we didn't know him. What's the name? Cashberry's
Duncan.
Duncan was
Melody.
living there. Duncan and Melody. And so we heard of two different groups starting on the island. And one was a group of, as it was described to us at this dinner, latte drinkers in Burton. And the other were food purveyors.
And that was before there was a coffee stand in Burton.
So we said, oh, food purveyors, that's what we're into. We'll go with the people who are growing food. So that's how we came to this group. And we heard that there was a meeting at the senior center. And that's who we came to.
And Tim, how come you chose us over all of the
Yeah.
other co-housings?
Oh, it's just we felt most comfortable with the people. It's that simple. Yeah.
Because we were not latte drinkers.
You know, I don't know. Sarah says it's because people swore so casually.
Some things never change.
That's kind of indicative, down to earth.
What did you mean by that?
She would have felt right at home.
I remember when the first time I came out, there was a couple of people down the road from us in Ballard who, as it happens, were coming out to visit. And they were trying to start their own co-housing, but they were thinking about maybe coming here and somehow merging their group with the co-housing group. And there was all this drama around whether they could give me a ride or not. They had to go back and forth among themselves and reach consensus about what kind of message would it send. And some of the other groups that we visited weren't like that, but they were kind of on the spectrum, right? And things were more here were just around solution oriented and
Put your money
just really
down
appealed to us, right? Not that we didn't put our money down real quickly, but we didn't have equity and we weren't self-starters, so we were kind of a third category of people that came to the group. And so what we needed before we could join was a way to build our house and pay for it. And so it was I think on our trying to make it work for us that the group looked to the condominium model. And
Right, and also that was
Right.
was that at the same time as the Vashon household
it was
process?
a little
going on?
later that the Vashon household folks.
Oh, okay, so you were before that.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe
Yes.
somewhat.
No,
But
you
we
were-
were. I was coming out from Ballard and attending meetings, and then we moved out to kind of check out living on the island, but we still hadn't joined. And then we moved to another rental property on Vashon. And Sarah always remembers the meeting where somehow I was going out, maybe walking Claire around the property, and people kind of surrounded Sarah, and Betty told her it's time to shit or get off the pot.
Put your money on the barrelhead.
That
Consistent.
Apparently they shit.
Consistent.
we shat.
We all did.
We all shat. And we've just got a few more minutes. Anything else that needs to be said?
We were starting to talk about
No.
the portable.
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 Yeah, that's pretty
Portable.
entertaining.
It's a great story.
Yeah.
So it took us 5.5 years to disentangle ourselves from New York.
No,
89
It was
to
94.
94.
Yeah, but it would have been
joined
December
in 90.
89.
Whatever.
But
Anyway,
Anyway,
whatever.
4
Yeah.
years. So my new liaison is Evan, so we're talking now. I don't know if it's every week or every 2 weeks or whatever it is, but
Often.
Often.
And
We're
at
having
length.
conversations back and forth.
Long
And I say to Evan, so, okay, we're ready to come. We're going to have twins. We're going to have 3 little kids and 2 of us. where are we gonna come to? And Evan says he heard about Mrs. Shepherd's schoolroom, one-room schoolroom that the school district is selling. And we said, great. That sounds.
Buy it.
Yeah, buy it.
We'll live in a
So,
one-room school.
He says you have to put it's a
with babies.
closed bid situation. And so we sat down, I said, what should we give? What should we bid? He said, well, why don't you bid $10,000? And we said, oh, okay. Now, I don't think we had more than $20,000 in our pocket at the time. So it took, we were the only bidders.
Yeah.
So we could have
Could've
bid
bid
five. We could have bid
$500.
but we could have lost it also.
Good have.
We
Yeah.
could have, yes.
So we got it for 10. Evan got a young guy to
I thought it was 7.
redesign, make it into 3 rooms, schoolroom with a bathroom and a kitchen. And it's like your house, $6,000 went for that, so $16,000, we had $4,000 in our pockets. And we had no rent to pay. It was remarkable.
And it sat right here.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
it
right
was.
here, right
And we had our meetings there,
And
we
then,
had
and then
our
our friend,
Thanksgiving dinners.
our friend Stuart came out and built that plastic porch. Remember that?
Remember
Looked
that?
like
Yes.
Appalachia here. It was this plastic covered thing, so we didn't.
Facing south, so
Well,
Right.
since you bring up Appalachia, I'll just tell you that I learned from my friends whose relatives drove the access bus that they called us the Res for years and years and years.
Well, it
Well,
was
it was
definitely a
a-
construction
it was
site
a-
for a
How long
decade.
did you live in that porta potty?
3 years.
3 years.
3 years.
We were there from 94 to 97.
Yeah.
I loved it, quite frankly.
Well, not only did you have your kids, you took care of my kids
Yes.
2 mornings a
Well-
week while I went to school.
And,
We took
And you took
care
them,
of your-
I know, you
Yeah.
both did.
and I will say that once we arrived, we started dinners together.
It was
Yes.
great.
Yeah.
Tuesday, Wednesday,
Yes.
and Thursday,
Yeah.
3 nights a week. We would all cram in to our
One of the
tiny
houses.
little
I would have
places.
3 card tables lined up in my entire room, and everybody would come for
Lots of
dinner.
kids.
Every
Lots
week
of kids.
without, and I remember Leslie's tofu, famous tofu dish.
And black bean soup.
Black bean soup.
Black bean soup.
And the kids would, play together after meals, and we
Betty's
did that
kids
for.
would watch them.
And Betty had
Right.
the biggest house, so
Right.
we had our meetings
Meetings in my
there.
house for a long
Right.
And
time.
I'll tell you, I am so thankful. We came here, and I am very moved by how we were received. Because we came here and we were supported completely, and we were totally underwater.
We had a
I mean, we were
very angry
underwater.
daughter.
And 2
6-month-old
kids,
twins.
6-month-old twins just grabbing, and all our time was spent trying to negotiate with these kids.
And we all said, give me that baby.
And we were using Leslie's washing machine, it was just
My attic for
your attic for
storage.
storage. Betty's
And your-
kids were
Betty's kids were
babysitting.
constant
Yeah.
babysitting for all of them.
It was just remarkable.
And then eventually we said, let's build a common house.
Well, and even before that, and that's the end, I think we're running out of time, but there was the Vashon household engaged.
Yeah, that's an important little piece.
And,
Yeah.
and I'd like your perspective, not only on how that happened, Martin, but in terms of the significance in terms of the project.
Well, I can tell you how it happened very clearly. Before I left, I had spoken to Evan, and Evan said, listen, man, as soon as you get here, you're going to take over the project.
I remember that. I remember that.
So I was preparing even then. I said, sure. I'm enthusiastic coming, and I'm telling you, it was such a tired group here. And I said, as long as you stay in the trench with me, I'll take it over, but you gotta always be there for me to have consultations with you. You may have to come with me to some meetings and stuff. Okay. So before I left New York, I went to Madison Avenue to a foundation, and I don't remember the foundation's name, that dealt with housing. And as an arts group, I knew a lot of foundations, and that's where we got our money from. But there was one group that one of my board members introduced me to a friend of his who was a board or the executive director of this housing foundation. And I said to him, well, I'm going there, I'm going to be the project coordinator here. How can I get money? Because my experience was you get money from city, state, or federal government foundations to underwrite these type of projects.
Grant money.
Yeah, it's grant money. he said, well, he said, are you a not-for-profit? I said, no, we're not a not-for-profit. He said, then that money is not available to you. He said, then get together with a not-for-profit. I said, okay. So as soon as I got here, I was having dinner with Leslie, and I said, Leslie, is there a not-for-profit on this island
Wow.
that's involved with housing? She says, yeah, my sister's the head of it. Let's get together. And that's how it happened. And then Jean came and she wanted everything. She wanted every house that was possible. And I said, no, and I remember saying, I don't want that. I don't think that's the way we should go. We should give 5 houses and let's negotiate 5 houses with them. And we had a negotiation and then Jean came on board.
Yeah, and that was the second, like, crucial money thing. The first was
Right.
the balloon payment that was due, which was 60,000, something like that.
42, I think it came down. Isn't
40,
that what?
okay.
isn't
No,
that
no,
what you-
42 is my house.
Oh, okay.
That was mine.
Anyway,
I'm thinking it was
lunch.
65,000.
It was 60-something.
That we owed on the land, and it was a deadline, and if we didn't come up with the money, the
Lost
project
everything.
was dead, basically.
And by this time, there was already a couple of houses here, right?
Yeah, but we hadn't paid for the land yet. Like, shit.
No, there was one house.
Oh,
Mine wasn't there yet.
So Leslie had just sold a house for a fairly tidy profit, should we say, in Ellisport, and she basically
Mark and I lent the money when we were
lent
both
the money to the
members.
group, pretty much
Unsecured.
unsecured. She just gave the group that $65,000, which
65, okay.
allowed the land to be free and clear.
And then we had to pay back all the original members.
That's
That
right.
didn't happen yet.
Yeah, that didn't happen until way later.
Long
Yeah,
time
yeah,
ago.
long time.
In the early 2000s, we paid back the
That's
original
Oh,
correct.
members.
wow.
They gave they had their money in the project,
Sneak out of here.
Yeah,
maybe
they-
about $10,000 altogether, interest-free for that.
Yeah.
Margaret's got
That
it.
was nice.
Margaret has
So
it.
that was
it's
the other
time
big
for us to
infusion,
wrap up.
was Vashon Household.
Yeah,
So that was the
that's
other
the other
savior
thing.
of the project.
So the
That is-
Vashon household, and they had to write a grant, you see, so we
Yeah.
didn't get the money immediately. We negotiated in the fall of '94, and then it took her, I think, at least 2 years to get the money, which
Yeah.
brings it to '96,
Yeah,
and then the houses.
but that was a
it
big cash infusion,
Yes, it
because
was.
then we could do infrastructure.
And it was 40,000 or 42,000.
now that we had a.
We could
Yeah.
finally fill that 6-foot trench.
Yeah,
And if you count a founding member like me and Mela as somebody who wasn't here at the creation but who built the house that's there, the person that's missing from this group is Ann Bowens, a VHH person who still lives in house number 1 and was
Yeah.
original VHH.
Well, and it was the VHH
And
funding
Tammy
that made it
Stone
possible
and-
for.
But I mean, of
Ann's
people that
still
are
here.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I
yeah,
see.
yeah.
And I
Okay.
also want to say just one other thing. I went to Mark as one of the people to get an exit comment, what happened and everything. And I encouraged, I said, and he asked, so what's happening? And I encouraged him to come back into the group.
And he did.
And eventually did.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Okay, thank
And
you guys, thank you,
We just
Matt.
have one quick
One-
question for Betty, since you were here and then left and now you've returned. What that's been like for you, or coming back again?
It's been great. When I left, I couldn't imagine ever coming. I moved to the city because my kids were starting at the community college, and then I thought I'd come back, but when I got there and they graduated and I discovered there was the whole social world in the city as a single person, I was just like, oh, I think I'll stay here. So I did, and I never thought I'd come back. And then the last, 6 months or so, I realized, okay, I'm ready to come back. I'm tired of the city. So I'm very lucky that Lynn Ann had a room for me. And I feel very welcomed back, and that has really, that's warmed me. Yeah. And I walk down here and I see the common house, like, oh yeah, we built that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is how we designed it to be, and here it is. Yeah.
Does it feel like it's arrived?
Yeah, it does actually. Yeah.
And hopefully it'll be here 100 years in the future with people that aren't even born yet.
Just need some new roofs.
You know, there are very few things, from what I find in my life, that you can plan to do and that happens. And it did happen here.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's really the original members that conceived it and planted the seed. I mean, I arm wrestled with the county, but it's just, that's an add-on. But the concept
The
and
vision.
the vision to do this thing came from that original group. And it's unusual, I find, in my life at least, that realization happens after you try to do something like that.
Yeah, it was a unique constellation of people and skills.
Yeah.
And each person contributed something different set of skills different people brought, and some people joined, and there's a lot of people who joined and dropped out. There's a lot of in and out, and then the handful of us diehards just
The pieces came together.
Pick
Thank
themselves
you,
up off
guys.
the
Thanks
floor.
for doing this. Great idea. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Leslie and Jim.
Yeah.
Thanks for showing up, Renee.
Well, I think we should have a continuation.
We almost did it.
Yeah.
Would you build another co-housing for another group that wanted? Would you be the developer?
No, we tell them to get a developer, hire a developer.
Sure, for a couple million. There's
We've wisened up.
There's a basket back there.
Because this only picks it up.
Looking pretty slender there, man.
I mean, like, all the
Thanks,
time,
Tim.
like, why there's nothing.
Yeah. Let me just say
And
this.
ours is over here. This has your name on it, sir.
No.
Yes. Oh, come on. We don't even know who belongs to what anymore. It's all yours.
Okay. Well,
Why
that's
not?
way too
Yeah.
generous. I'll
Well,
do something better with it then.
Bring him a beer sometime.
For the watchers.
Yes, I'm.
Hi. How are things?
And then the building and the common house.
Haven't been added.